You know, before watching the new episode of Attack on Titan, Shingeki no Kyojin, I was pretty much disappointed because I just took a quick look at the subreddit Einarime, and every single one of you, no, most of the people there were dooming. People were talking about how AOE was already dead and it was not going to happen. Like when you scroll, the amount of the doom posting posts were majority of what you could see. So I actually went and watched the episode. I wasn't very hopeful about what I was going to see, but holy crap, you didn't even watch the thing, did you? Because first of all, we have some scenes that are pretty much confirming AOE again, and I'm gonna talk about them later on too, because this video is a fast one. It's like 4 AM here and I just had to finish making this video before going to sleep. Yeah. So the first thing we have, and we are going to go into a spoiler territory too, of course, is that, hey, at the very beginning, we have the scene, the opening scene. When you take a close look at what's happening, you see, first of all, you see the see you later timeline. Basically, it's Mikasa, the very first thing in the manga. You move on, and the thing you see here, very interestingly, is probably what we are seeing. A scene of Mikasa is actually Kid Eren, and that's probably not adult Mikasa. I have seen some things on subreddit and other part. We have Mikasa like reaching out to Eren. It does look like the Kyojin timeline, but it shouldn't probably be because of some very obvious reasons. First of all, Eren doesn't have the Titan marks that he should be having if it's the same thing as in the manga, and I'm gonna explain why I'm making emphasis on this part. And when it goes forward, it gets a bit weird. Look, Eren is obviously, he is sitting down. He is in a sitting position. He's not lying down. And how do we know that? Look at his body posture. You can see the branches and the flowers and stuff. They are sticking up. So Eren is in a 90 degrees position. Suddenly, the next scene, for some reason that I can't understand, and I'm going to try to explain, cuts into black. Eren wakes up and he's lying down. So first of all, before anything, I want to do an experiment here. I did that on my stream too, on the live stream on Twitch. You're sitting down 90 degrees and you're asleep. It's something like this. So when you wake up, obviously you can't be like this. If you wake up and you are looking at the ceiling, at the tree or anything, you haven't been sleeping sitting down. It's pretty much obvious. Look, it can't happen. I'm gonna explain why I'm going to such lengths to explain this part. So this is what you have. Then there is something that is very suspicious here. So first of all, we can actually separate the timeline. Obviously, the first one, the see you later one, something that resembles the Kyojin one, or actually, upon more inspection, it's the manga timeline. And at the very end, what we have is not the manga timeline. So we have the Kyojin timeline, probably the see you later part that is from the Kyojin timeline. Then we have the manga timeline, and after that we have the anime timeline. Why do we know that? Take a close look at this. They skipped something pretty important for a show that is actually going one-on-one with the manga. Do look. Eren wakes up. He's not in a sitting position, but that's not the only clue we have. Look at the dialogue. Let's go home now. Why are you here? And it jumps to were you sleeping that soundly? So after that, what we have is, it feels like I just had a really long dream. And here's where the fun begins. Take a look at the manga chapter 1. You will notice something very interesting. Eren has the see you later thing that is pretty much we see in the opening sequence as of here, that we shouldn't be seeing that in this part. Then the dialogues. Take a close look at the dialogues. It says, oh, when did your hair get so long? That part is missing. That's a crucial part, and it's actually missing. We don't have that part. Doesn't it seem important to you that we are pretty much missing such important information in this part, and why they would actually go out of their way to move everything here? Something that we actually didn't need. You might be saying, hey, Hadi, probably they are going to correct the mistake that the artistic choice that we made. Then why do we have the whole thing from the Kyojin scene? Why do we have the other one? Is that from the manga? You can see that Mikasa has her hands on Eren's shoulders. It kind of goes in with what we were seeing in the opening scenes of the anime of the new episode. And then we are missing one crucial information, that is Eren asks, hey, why is your hair so short? Where did it go? Why is it so long? Sorry, my bad. And we don't have Eren with the hoodie. We don't have hoodie Eren, coat Eren, whatever. We had the thingy, I don't know, the shirt, the red shirt Eren here. Doesn't it seem interesting that they are actually omitting some parts of the dialects just for this part? Some big parts of the dialogue, and they show us the first timeline, potentially the second timeline, And now another timeline. This has to be the anime timeline because there are major deviations from the manga. And we know that in how Eren wakes up in everything, it can't be the same. But for some reason, Eren isn't having the Wheat nightmare that we had before. It could be because of the line of a mess of memories. It could be he must be having some kind of memory issues right now, because you do remember that Eren is having memories of past, future, and present. But that goes into another territory that I do not want to delve into so much right now. I'm gonna make other videos on that later on. But what is obvious here is that what we have, more than being denial of the AOE, is actually adding to the AOE. It doesn't make sense. The position of Eren sitting down doesn't make sense. I know you're going to probably talk about the scarf coloring and stuff, but just leave aside those parts. Just leave aside all the other things. Removing one of the crucial lines from the manga, how Eren is sitting down and how it actually changes later on. How it doesn't make sense to have these three parts following each other. It doesn't make any sense. And I did say that they are following the manga very closely, and they are. Just take a look at the scenes I'm going to put on the screen. And it's from the anime, the special episode we have, and the parts from the manga. Just compare them. Any talking to Mikasa, any talking to Armin, all of them. Even the proportions that they take on the screen, it's pretty much the same. Okay, they added to rumbling and stuff, but all the other things, except some other minor stuff that doesn't really add or does much important changes to the story, they were unchanged. Except, again, Eren's eyes, that I talked about that in another video. So let's just move forward to another point I'm trying to make here that seems pretty important to me. First of all, about the ending. What we have in the ending that I don't understand how some of the people consider that as a sign of doom for AOE is that we have the song that Mikasa is probably singing. Not probably, because Tim actually said that it's from Mikasa's point of view. Then we have the shot of someone walk towards the tree, to go under the tree. So here's where it gets very, very interesting and fun. Look. If you look who's walking, it can't be Mikasa, because of a very obvious reason. First of all, it's not the gear that Mikasa had when she was walking, be it the shoes, the clothing, and everything. And she didn't have the time to go around with Eren's head. We know that it can't actually be. I know there is this thing that how the heck did Mikasa take Eren's head from there to Paradise? I'm not gonna get into that. That's something that Isayama has to explain. But the pants and the shoes that we are seeing is pretty much what we saw from Eren in the rumbling and in other instances too. And the way that this person is walking is also how Eren is walking in the other anime sequences produced by Mappa. So it pretty much makes sense. You could say that, hey, it could be a artistic choice that Mikasa's wearing the pants and stuff. It could be that, but I can't ignore the similarities between the shoes and the pants and everything with Eren. And it could still make sense for the manga ending to have Eren walking towards the tree, because Eren is returning to the tree. So I'm gonna hold on to that for a little later on. But potentially it could also be showing, or let's say pointing towards Akatsuki no Rikuaye, that Eren is walking towards the tree. So let's take a step forward and go to another point that I have seen a lot of people using as Doomium, again, as Doomer posting. We have the trees, and it's gonna get very interesting because I'm gonna show you the frames. First, we have the tree from Shiganshina, that tree. Then we have the tree at Path, and the next one we have, I am sad to inform you, it's not the tree from 139.5. It's the tree from Ymir's childhood. How do I know that? Let's take a very close look at the tree animated by Mappa in Ymir's flashback, and also the tree animated here, the still shot used, and the framing, and how the POV is. So you can see the branches, 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at the branches, it's the exact same thing. They didn't even change the style. And you thought it was the tree from the end, at the very end. I'm sad to inform you that you must be having some memory issues. And let's take another look at another picture that you probably should have looked at before you started to doom post around. it doesn't really look like the one that we see in the anime. It doesn't look like the one that we see here. It's pretty much resembling the one that we see in Ymir's backstory. It's a pretty forward, straight, let's say, a straight looking tree. It's not the same in the panel that we have at the ending. It's not the same in Ymir's backstory. And just leaving aside the manga part and why they would even change the structure of the tree, because it's a curved tree now. It has thick thighs. Okay, my bad. The thick thighs wasn't what I was going to say, but yeah, it has the curves. It doesn't really make much sense to me, someone who's watching it. But what I'm pretty sure is that it is not the tree from how it is looked upon from down there and everything. It doesn't look like a tree from 139.05. And let me ask you now, what does this mean right now? We have the errand one, we have the coordinate one, and we have the one from Ymir's timeline. I can't really talk about that right now. I need to think a lot and I need to theorize a lot. But before anything, what I'm actually sure is that more than anything, the imagery we saw as a whole. I'm gonna conclude this video and just record another one later on when I just had more time to connect the dots and everything. It doesn't make any sense for Mappa, that is actually adapting everything like the manga, to suddenly decide to change stuff that is pretty important, pretty symbolic, and ties into AOE. I'm pretty sure it's impossible that Isayama and the people at Mappa and people that talk to Isayama at least haven't seen the theories. AOE is actually a big thing. People talk about that. It might seem like not many people are aware of that, but I'm pretty sure Isayama, as a person that has seen the backlash in social media and stuff, must be aware of what is happening and must have seen this. Either it's Isayama and Mappa trolling the hell out of us, or what I believe, they are giving us very subtle hints about what they're changing and AOE. Here's what I had to say. Sorry if my thoughts weren't very focused like before. I had a 5-hour stream that I was reacting and stuff. I want to make another video on this issue later on, a much more concentrated one. Just wanted to let you know because I'm seeing a lot of people losing hope and I don't really understand why. This is the main point of this video. I'm gonna try to upload that before I go to sleep too. Have a great day, and as I say in Farsi, Shabaton Bakhair.